Adam, first of all, kudos to you, sir, on the 7 minutes of sleep you're going on. Secondly, are you surprised that Seattle sort of got this done to sort of acquiesce whatever Russell wanted?
Yes and no, Trey, if that makes any sense. And I would say yes, I'm surprised because over the weekend it didn't sound like they were going to get a deal done. And it sounded like the April 15th deadline that he imposed, in which he would not sign a deal after that this season, was real, that they basically had too much space between the two sides to get a deal done. But then his agent, Mark Rogers, Russell Wilson's agent, flew into Seattle on Thursday, I believe, and said he was going there to make sure that he would not leave without a deal. So when your agent goes into a city 5 days in advance and spends 5 days there and is not going to leave until midnight that Monday when the deadline expires, there's a pretty decent chance that eventually you could figure it out. So while the Seahawks are basically in draft meetings and getting ready for the draft, in which they only have 4 picks, by the way, the agent is camped out in their city at a nearby hotel right up the street, basically forcing his way into the building and into their presence. And so they struck a deal at midnight Seattle time this morning, 3 a.m. Eastern. And in a text that I got a short time ago from the agent, he said basically Russell didn't want to leave Seattle. Now, that's well and good, and that's fine. It's also true, I think, that when we heard Jack Del Rio last week say he wouldn't be surprised if Russell Wilson were traded, there really wasn't a market to trade him. There really wasn't, because any team that was out there, and I know it sounds funny because I'm sure the public, there are some quarterback needy teams. Oh, my team would have traded for him. No, they wouldn't have.
Yeah.
Because I think these teams were aware of this idea, and any team trading for him would have had to compensate the Seahawks with draft compensation and Russell with this contract. And there was not a team out there that was willing to do all of that. Everybody loves Russell Wilson as a quarterback, but they don't love him enough to pay two different parties. When the Bears did it for Khalil Mack, everybody has a need for a pass rusher. Everybody. And there wasn't a team out there right now. I mean, give me a team right now that would be willing to sacrifice this draft position and pay the guy. Tell me the team, and I'll blow it up for you.
I don't think he exists.
The Chargers can't do it. They got Phillip Rivers. The Dolphins, they're committed to the future. The Giants have Eli Manning. What are you going to do with him? Right? Who's doing it? So it's not like there have been some other years. Would Russell Wilson be an upgrade over a lot of teams' quarterbacks? Yes, absolutely. But that's not what we're talking about.
Talking to Adam Schefter, our ESPN NFL insider. So, Adam, then, was that ultimately the driving force on this? A dried-up market? Was it the impending franchise tag game that looked like it could be coming? Because still to do this in April as opposed to going through it towards training camp the way we saw it the last time with Russ's deal seems like it's out of the ordinary.
Well, I will say this, that I've never seen that done where an April 15th deadline was imposed. And I think that it's a case where basically we've seen players get a lot of control and get a lot of victories here in recent years. Over the last year, not recent years, over the last year. Like guys holding out, guys taking to social media, guys not showing up, guys giving April 15th deadline. I was thinking about that. Like if you go back to Khalil Mack, and you go back to Antonio Brown, you go back here to Russell Wilson, like players that shake it up a bit, usually it's worked out pretty well. Now, I guess there are cases where it hasn't gone as well too, maybe Le'Veon Bell. But in the end, he got his contract. It wasn't maybe exactly what it was, but it wasn't terribly far off. And so I just think that we're in a different era. Plus, the other thing that's really interesting here is that I think some of the early league reaction I've gotten back is that people can't believe how crazy quarterback contracts have gone. That the salary cap has gone up $9 million a year the last 3 years, which is less than 10% per year. Yet the quarterback market has gone from $23 million to $35 million in that time. And so the quarterback market has really jumped up quite a bit, way more than the salary cap, and you wonder where that's going to stop.
Yeah. Adam Schefter with us. Adam, real quickly before you go back to, I'm sure the 8 minutes of REM sleep you're going to get today.
Thank you.
What will this do for the market for other quarterbacks? Like Jerry Jones is going to pay Dak Prescott.
Well, Trey, great question. And I would just say this to you. Think of all the quarterback deals that are coming up. Carson Wentz, Jared Goff, Dak Prescott, Ben Roethlisberger, Phillip Rivers, and Tom Brady.
Yeah.
All those guys at some point in the coming months, you would think are going to be getting a new quarterback deal. So I go back to my reference of the salary cap going up basically less than 10% per year and the quarterback market exploding. Good to be a quarterback right now. Good to be a very good quarterback.
It's good to be a quarterback knowing that the thinking is we can't win without one, and that may be correct.